Murder mystery right here in Manhattan. We're learning more now about two men charged in connection with killing a 26-year-old on the Upper East Side. ABC's Lindsay Janis is on the scene with the latest on the investigation. Good morning, Lindsay.
Good morning, George. Police say they now know how Joseph Comunale was murdered, and they believe they know who did it. But the question they are still working on this morning is why.
Overnight, two men in court charged in connection with the murder of 26-year-old Joseph Comunale, the Connecticut man who vanished after a night of partying in New York City.
This is morphed from a missing persons to a homicide investigation.
25-year-old James Rackover, who has a long criminal history of burglary and robbery, and 28-year-old Larry Dilione, now facing charges of hindering prosecution and concealing a corpse.
Stabbed 15 times in the chest area. And also there is an effort to burn his body.
Police believe Comunale's body was removed from a luxury Manhattan high-rise where Rackover lives on this blood-stained luggage cart.
There appears to be bleach on that clothing as well in order to cover up the blood.
Police say one of the suspects helping them find the body believed to be Comunale's in a shallow grave 55 miles away in New Jersey.
A very disturbing crime scene.
Investigators say Comunale met Rackover, Dilione, and three women at a nightclub, the group going back to Rackover's apartment in the early hours of Sunday morning.
The motive is undetermined right now, but it'd be speculative for me to say anything more than that, other than a dispute, of course.
Rackover shares a name with prominent New York City jeweler Jeffrey Rackover, whose clients reportedly include Oprah and Melania Trump, but the two are not related.
He actually let this young man change his name to his name. He didn't adopt him. You can't adopt somebody over 18, but he let him change his name.
Friends say Jeffrey had been helping the troubled Florida man, whose name used to be James Beaudoin, clean up his life.
This is such a triple tragedy for the young man that was killed and his family, for James, whose life is never going to be the same, and for Jeffrey Rackover, who thought that he had this son that he never had. He just can't believe what occurred.
Police say they're still trying to determine exactly what happened inside that apartment building. Both men still face murder charges, and neither are cooperating. George?
Okay, Lindsay, thanks. Let's talk to our chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams, right now. And so the body, pretty gruesome story. Body just found on Wednesday, but they already have these arrests. It's moving pretty fast.
Yeah, and it seems pretty clear that they had a suspect already targeted, meaning that he was reported missing as of Monday. I think they knew where he was. They knew who lived there. They found possible suspect. Suspects then, at least one of the suspects, leads them to the body. They then find the body, 100 miles away from where this allegedly happened, and that's, I think, why this investigation's moved so quickly. But they still are trying to assess, I think, exactly who was the most culpable one
Well, that's
here.
the thing. You've got multiple suspects right now. Some charges filed, but they're going to try to turn one witness against the other.
I think they may. I think they want to know who did the stabbing, right? I mean, the theory right now is that this was some sort of fight, some sort of incident that led to this stabbing. So the question's going to be, with more than one person in custody, I think they're going to want to know who was the stabber and who was there, who may have helped conceal the body, etc. And what authorities may want to do in a case like this is they may want to try and cut a deal with the less culpable person and say, all right, we're still going to charge you. You're still going to serve some time, but we'll be able to get you out a lot earlier if you're willing to help us and testify against the other person, because that person could be a critical eyewitness. We don't know that to be the case right now, but in these kinds of cases, that tends to be what happens.
Okay, Dan Abrams, thanks very much.